Alrighty. Well, hello, everybody. Can you hear me? Alrighty. Welcome one and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel, home of a very low or very high camera. Let me see if that's a little bit better. Okay. Spare no expense here in the library. That's all right. We'll get this silly computer thing going one of these days. All right. Hey, Donna, good to see you. Hello. So yes, that aside, welcome one and welcome all to the Junk Shop Library channel. It is Thursday, the 30th of July. Hello, Mr. Shadow Kitty, Geo Sam, Mark Caesar, Epileptic Skeptic. We got a whole crew in here today, and I love it. All right. It is Thursday, so we're doing Mental Health Thursdays today. I don't know about y'all, but I could really use a little bit of time just here hanging out with my friends and family and just talking about the state of everybody's mental health. Lone Wanderer, hello, my friend. Good to see you as always. Before we launch into our main topic today, I do have to thank my wonderful, whoops, wrong way, my wonderful patrons. These are the folks who have seen fit and found room in their pocketbooks to go over to patreon.com/junkshoplibrary and pledge their allegiance for as little as $1 a month. These folks in alphabetical order, if I typed everything correctly, are B, Brainbug, Mark Caesar, Paul Camish, Kim, Linda, the Lone Wanderer, Math Pig, Mama Atheist, Nikki, Rain, and Santi the Same. Thank you all so very much for your ongoing support. It really does make a difference, and it really does mean the world. Never Again, hello. Good to see you. Amiga Nuts, the king of the shills, is in the house. Diary of Lydia, hello, my friend. So good to see you. Anybody who's not already subscribed to Diary of Lydia's channel needs to do that immediately, if not sooner. She's a fantastic young content creator who specializes in mental health and very, very bravely tells the story of her mental health journey. Today, we are going to be talking about self-care and coping mechanisms. And we're going to be sticking with the productive and helpful coping mechanisms. I've talked about some of my maladaptive coping mechanisms before in the past, and I want to have a little more of a positive spin today. Let me try that again. Epileptic Skeptic says, I thought it was neat when this popped up just now because I had a virtual appointment with my counselor today. I hope you're all taking care of yourselves during these difficult times. Agreed. It's been interesting, those of us who are telecommuting to our therapy and various other medical sessions, isn't it? It's been a weird one to get used to. I actually had my first therapy session yesterday. I had never been to therapy before, and the time had come. That was an interesting experience. I normally, it's like I always say, I'm not normally a crazed introvert. I just play one on your television. And I don't normally open up, especially to brand new strangers. So that was an interesting thing to get used to and to approach. The first thing I want to mention in terms of self-care and taking care of one's mental health is something we all know instinctually or intellectually, but we don't always remember to act on it. And that is, sometimes it's okay to take a step away from the social media. I don't count this as social media. This is old Junk Shop's ranting time and a place where I come to hang out with my friends. But there is, hey Kim, good to see you. Hello. Therapy via text. I bet that was fucking weird. Jesus Christ. But, you know, social media, whether that's Twitter or whether that's Instagram or whether that's whatever else the kids are using these days, it can get overwhelming, and it can fuck with your mental health. I had that happen yesterday. I'm going to tread lightly as I tell this story because it's about content warnings. There are some things that people really should slap content warnings on. And I don't understand why more people don't, because it's just not fucking hard. You put CW in brackets, then you say whatever it is that's possibly triggering, then you hit enter a couple of times, and then you put whatever it is you're trying to put. There was a news story that was making the rounds in one of my Twitter circles yesterday, and it included some fairly disturbing and pretty graphic imagery just right there on the front page of it. And I kept tripping over it and kept tripping over it, and it just pushed a few too many of my buttons. So I've walked away from Twitter for a while. I'll likely rejoin it at some point, but I don't know when. It doesn't feel safe right now. And that's one of the points I wanted to bring up. Don't feel obligated or pressured ever to stay in a place that doesn't feel safe. Whether that is a literal place or a metaphorical place, whether that's a social media platform, a room, a conversation. I found, while I was fighting this internal battle yesterday, I found that I was feeling a pressure that was 100% generated from within. To stay there and to stay engaged. And I finally realized that just wasn't healthy for me at the time. You got to be able to, you know, you can't help everybody, and you can't talk to anybody if you've given away all your spoons yourselves. And yeah, I'm not actually diagnosed formally with PTSD, but I've had some experiences that being reminded of, especially being graphically reminded of, tends to trigger similar symptoms. And once I realized that was what was happening yesterday, I just turned around and walked away. And I went and sat and watched my fishes for a while. And that ties fairly neatly into the next thing that I wanted to say, which is make sure you take time to look at your metaphorical fishes. Do the things that help ground you, that help calm you down, that help put all your mental furniture back where it's supposed to be. And Linda points out a really good point. I'm going to see if me and my overgrown fingernails can pull this up on the screen. There we go. Reach out to the community if you need to talk. And that's another important thing to be conscious of. Make sure you've got folks you can reach out to. Specifically with regard to mental health and mental health stuff. You can't do it all on your own. And you can't do it just with your therapist. Hey, Brain Bug, I didn't see you sneak in. I'm sorry. You just, yeah. Speaking as somebody who knows what it's like to try to do it all by oneself and to haul oneself along by one's own bootstraps and the strength of a good right arm, that's not healthy. It's not a good way to live. Make sure you've got folks you can reach out to, whether that's online, whether that's in person, whether that's somebody you live with or somebody you've never personally met. You need to make sure to find community. And that's what I'm trying to foster here, is a place where we can all come and feel safe. It's one of the reasons I've got so many mods in the chat, because these are people I've known and people I trust to keep us all safe here. Epileptic Skeptic says that, and making a point to look at the birds outside. Yes. And B says, when I have a shit day, I go out and sit in the quiet in nature and absorb the peace and let out the shit. And that's a good thing to remember, specifically outside. Thank you, Epileptic Skeptic. It's especially these days when we're trapped in our houses and trapped in our heads. It's good to remember to just step outside and breathe different air and literally look at the trees, not in the bad apologetics argument kind of way. So, what are some... Linda takes her dog for a walk. Yeah, that can really help. Stuff of that, activities of that nature. I wanted to make sure we opened up to discussion. Opened up to discussion. Listen to how important I sound. What are some coping mechanisms and some self-care routines, and we've sort of led into this in the chat, that you find particularly helpful? We've mentioned just absorbing the general vibe of nature. I've talked about my fish. What do y'all do? What do y'all find helpful when you're in bad brain states? Silence falls as I wait for my chat to catch up. Junk shop and technology, y'all. You know it doesn't mix. Aha! Kim says, cats and a laser pointer. That will take you out of your own head. That is a nice, relaxing way to just unwind and fool around. Makes you feel all young and carefree again. Amiga Nut says, hop on the motorcycle and just go for a while. Exactly. I myself do not motorcycle, but I do car. And hey, Robert X, Germany in the house. Hello, my friend. Always good to see you. It can help just to get out and go, whether that's to just get out and go for a walk, for a ride, for a drive, for whatever. Lone Wanderer escapes into Fallout. Fallout, that's a video game. Sorry, it took me a second. Play Magic the Gathering, old school. All right, I like it. Or listen to meditation music. Good. Donna says, even if only a 10-minute workout, that can make her get out of her head and into her body. That's a good point, because I don't know about y'all, but my exercise routine was never the best or most reliable, and it has gone absolutely to crap since the pandemic set in. Mark Caesar points out he talks to passengers in his Uber and realizes he's not the only one with problems, which helps keep him centered. Yes, and that's another good point. Remember that whatever it is that you feel you're alone in, you're probably not. And there's other folks out there with exactly the same whatever your problem is, and that kind of calls back to what I was talking about earlier about making sure you have community. So make sure you've got folks you can talk to. Brainbug, unsurprisingly, enjoys identifying and cataloging organisms. Anyone who knows Brainbug knows that that comes as absolutely no surprise at all. He's our resident entomologist. B says, lays on the floor, headphones on, Andrea Bocelli or Lindsey Sterling. Ooh, I love me some Lindsey Sterling. Up loud enough so it's all I can hear. Close my eyes and pretty much meditate and only concentrate on the music. That would really work. Usually when I listen to something loud, it's metal, but that tends to get you a little more agitated. Lindsey Sterling is a perfect choice for that kind of thing. GeoSam suggests self-gratification. Also a good way to get yourself out of your head and into your body, as someone said a moment ago. Angie's here. Hi, Angie. Good to see you as always. B says, I wish I could. I'm going to pull that up on the screen if I can find it. Yes. It says, I wish I could find those people who know exactly, though I hope no one else knows the pain. Yes. I remember back in the day when I was doing some much more maladaptive coping mechanisms. It was back in my live journal days, and I found a couple of communities there that were made up of people who knew exactly what I was going through and dealing with, and that was sometimes helpful. Sometimes it fed into a sort of an Ouroboros of bad, but let's see. Very Stable Milking Stool says he likes to watch crazy motherfuckers doing their live streams, which makes him feel normal. You are a smartass. That's you are. Miss Shadow Kitty says, my cats are a great comfort to me. I do miss having cats when I'm in a certain emotional states. Then I look around and see what they've done to what the last ones did to my furniture, and I don't miss them anymore. But that's what the internet is for. What is it, like 60% cats, 30% email, and 10% porn? I'm sure I got that proportion right. Yeah, oh, we're all in the Lindsey Sterling fan club, it looks like. Angie sings. Another, not a surprise. Anybody who's not already subscribed to Angie needs to subscribe to her if you like puppies and singing. Let's see. Oh, yes, epileptic skeptic. This might seem obvious or weird, but showering regularly makes a huge difference. Too often when I'm depressed, I feel like I have to do something to earn a shower. I find that to be very, very true. I don't always, especially when I'm down in the dumps, I don't always remember to bathe. And that's another thing that can sort of feed on itself. You feel bad, so you don't have the energy to bathe. You get all grody, so you feel bad. You feel worse, which takes away the energy. You know, sometimes you just gotta get up and do stuff, and that's easier said than done, isn't it? Shit. If only it was that easy, right? Get up and do stuff. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Cheer up. Smile more. Never Again says something similar to Mark Caesar when he was talking about the Uber passengers. I have to admit, when I'm feeling especially pity party about me, I go and listen to other people's stories, so I know I'm not alone. Even if the details are different, I'm not alone. Mark Caesar had no idea the dragon eating its own tail was called an Ouroboros. Yep. Yeah. Angie says, yeah, it helps break the cycle. And that's something that I've found it's very easy to fall into, especially these days. It's these days. It's very easy to fall into cycles, and for those cycles to devolve into something not good. Kim's, yeah, exactly. Kim says, me before showering. Ugh, it's so far away. Too much trouble. Me in the shower. I live here now. Yeah, exactly. We've got a teeny tiny little water heater, or I would spend all my time in the shower. Edward bringing out the deep cuts, listening to Sopor Aeternus and the Ensemble of Shadows. Makes me feel better when I'm sad. Sad music increases your dopamine. I did not know that. I hope that's true. Yeah, I didn't know there were any other Sopor Aeternus fans out there. So, cheers, my friend. Hail, fellow. Well met. I am not alone. All right, there was something else I wanted to engage with y'all concerning, and now I don't remember what it was. I just been talking, just have I been. Yeah, B says metal makes you more angry. At least that's what it does to her. Had to cut it out when not doing good. Yeah, I have found that to be the case a lot of the time. Sort of depends on what brand of metal. I'm not, if I'm feeling real down in the dumps, I'm not going to break out the death, leprosy, mortification. But nothing wrong with some good old fashioned hard rockin' power metal. I get some Scorpions or some Sister Sin going, and sometimes it gives me the energy to get up off my lazy ass and go wash the dishes or you know, do my water changes or whatever. And Never Again never listens to angry music. Also a perfectly valid choice. If that's one thing that I want to be my refrain around here, as at least on the mental health streams, it's always a perfectly valid choice. You do you. It was one of the things. I'm so glad there's so many people here today, so that we can have a lot of different approaches and have a lot of different coping strategies and such, flying up in the air, running up the flagpole to see who salutes it, and just hopefully you find something that works for you. Something falls out of the closet that you can use and take home. Bit of Tea in Danish says, I'm just now beginning to incorporate some structure in my life. Structure makes a difference. It can be hard to institute, especially these days. But it really does make a difference. That's one of the reasons I've started doing my streams at the same time and really tried to commit to doing them on particular days and doing particular topics particular days, because I was sort of a flounder without structure. And I realized, well, you know what, you do this online thing quite a bit. You could make structure. You could force yourself to have structure. And so here we are. Angie reminds us that Mr. Rogers said, it's good to know an angry song for when you're feeling angry. Indeed. I think it was Angie said a minute ago something about singing angry songs. Yeah, that was Angie. Singing angry songs makes me feel better. Yeah, Amiga Nuts dropping everybody's channels in the chat. The king of the shills. Mark Caesar, you were a flounder? Are you taking associating with your fish to another level? Yeah, what was that movie where Albert Finney says he's drying out like a fish and he soaks himself in the bathtub with his suit on? What was that movie? Big Fish? Something like that? Was that the name of that movie? All right. Well, I find I'm running into the rambly part of the stream. I found that half an hour tends to be a good length for the mental health streams. Big Fish. Thank you, Lone Wanderer. Yes. Yeah. Wow. I got it in one. I'll be damned. I've only seen that movie once, and it was like 10 years ago. But I always remember that scene. I'm crying out. So I'm going to let the timer run for another couple of minutes and let folks, you know, drop everybody's channels and throw up any last minute tips in the chat. We do this every Thursday. I'm trying to do it at the same time every Thursday. Have the mental health stream. Sometimes we have a set topic. And sometimes it's just a safe place for folks to come together and unload about their mental health stuff and unwind. I know we've got a couple of folks here today that aren't usually here with us, and I hope you've felt welcomed, and I hope you come back and see us again. And Angie Dell reminds us that talking to a friend almost always helps. Yes. Oh, yes. And Linda, there are apps. That was Calm is the one she uses. I'm trying to remember the name of the one that I use. Pocket Coach is the one I use. It's a cognitive behavioral therapy based app, and it'll walk you through, you know, just various calming down and feeling better exercises. Sometimes it's breathing exercises, sometimes it's list making, sometimes you know, that sort of thing. Yeah, and if you find one of those that work, we've all got, well, you know, most of us have a smartphone of some kind in our pocket these days. Even I do, for crying out loud. And those can be remarkably helpful. Yeah, thank you, Linda. I think that was the other thing I wanted to mention and couldn't dredge up out of the old memory pan. Drew, hey, Druid lover, I didn't see you sneak in. How long you been with us, my friend? Always good to see you. Meditation helps Druid lover. I've never had any luck with meditation. Deep breathing, as Never Again points out, most definitely works. I've had a lot better luck with the breathing exercises than with anything like active meditation. Never had any luck with that myself, but the folks it works for them wonders. So if you're a meditation person, meditate away, my friends. All right. Well, I think we've about exhausted the topic. Oh, thank you, Never Again. Go find something funny to watch sometimes if you're in a triggered mood. I agree. All right. We're going to wrap up here. Thank you all so much for coming. If you enjoyed your time with us today, do me a favor and hit that like button on the way out. If you really enjoyed your time with us today, or if you've got a suggestion for a topic for next week, just drop a comment down below if the comment box is there. There was a video earlier this week where the comment box didn't show up, or at least didn't show up for a couple of days. It's YouTube. What you gonna do? Again, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you to my wonderful patrons without whom I could not continually do this. And as we always say, when we round out here in the library, everybody take care. Be safe. Stand against hate. And we'll see you around. Night, everybody.